Hello everybody, I'm Sally Young and I'm the chair of the Women's Fund that's based here at the Community Foundation of Northumberland Tyne and Wear. I'd like to say a little bit about this film and a little bit about the fund. We were set up over 20 years ago by a very generous donation from Dame Margaret Barber from the Barber Trust, and there have been many others who supported us since that time that have enabled us to do a lot of great work in the region. So thank you to everyone who supported us. I mean, the obvious question is, why have a Women's Fund? And basically, our Women's Fund is a collective endeavour that enables us to support the good work that's done to support other women in the region. It's really important that we have it. I'm sure you're very aware of the very difficult time that there's been for charities since the pandemic started. Ironically, the need for charities has never been more needed, but it's been a very difficult time, both in fundraising, with isolation, with furlough, and at the same time as having to give services to people we often weren't able to close down ourselves. So we're also aware of the many issues that have affected women in the pandemic. Issues around mental health, around isolation, around loneliness, increases in poverty. A lot of the employment areas where women were employed in have closed down and may or may not reopen. And also, very sadly, the increase in domestic abuse. However, we have some brilliant projects in our area that we've been able to support. Last year, the volunteers who support me and many others who make up the Women's Fund Committee decided we'd actually do things differently. And rather than lots of small applications, we decided to do what's called core year, multi-year funding. And what that has done is given security and stability to many of the projects to enable them to focus on delivering services, not writing application forms, and also to fund those areas that are so important but are actually quite hard to raise funds for, such as back office services. So what I'd like to do is to introduce you to 4 brilliant organisations, and there are many others across our region: Sunderland Women's Centre, Tyneside Women's Health, Western Women and Girls, and WHIST. And you'll hear from workers and volunteers at the projects. And I'd like to thank everyone who took time to do this: Andrea, Elaine, HUFTY, all the volunteers, Eve, Corinne and Donna, just to name a few. And you'll hear from them about the great work that they do, but also more importantly, we've been able to do. And I hope when you hear what they have to say about the impact that they have on the lives of so many women, that you'll think about donating yourselves. We need the Women's Fund to keep going so we can actually support more women and more girls through this difficult time, and in particular give them the skills and the confidence that they will need to face what could be a more difficult and challenging future. Thank you for listening. Please listen to what our contributors have to say, sit back and enjoy. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andrea, part of the team at Sunderland Women's Centre. We'd like to take the opportunity to thank the Women's Fund and all of the other funders who supported us through Community Foundation over the years. It's been really helpful to allow us to maintain the centre and to offer courses to women. We've been around for 37, 38 years now, offering courses to women. It's been educational courses, leisure courses, health and wellbeing courses, and we've also got an on-site creche, which is what we found has been an advantage to some women, as that's been a barrier to them returning to education. The funding that we have been offered has allowed us to continue with courses, and we've also been able to maintain the same staff, which has helped people to feel more welcome, because obviously we get to know them, they get to know us, and it makes them feel comfortable when they're coming into the centre. And we found that's why people come back time and time again. So they might start an entry-level course and they'll follow us all the way through till they gain qualifications.
So plans for next year out of the pandemic is going to be our biggest challenge yet. Trying to get women back into education. We're going to be focusing more on the mental health side, well-being and the social isolation that many women's faced. We're going to be strengthening our services and offering our support, a listening ear and our advice. Everyone involved in the Women's Centre, from staff to management to students, thank the Women's Fund for their funding, as this is vital for the Women's Centre to keep operating.
Hi, I'm Elaine from Tyneside Women's Health. We are a women-only mental health support service across Tyneside, supporting women to improve their mental health and emotional well-being through a whole range of mental health programmes and courses and activities. In the short term, our funding grant from the Women's Fund at the Community Foundation is helping us to welcome as many women back to centres as possible. But in the longer term, we're going to be evaluating some of the remote support interventions that we implemented during the lockdown to see if it's something that we want to incorporate into our wider service delivery. And we're also doing a very big strategic planning process at the moment. So thank you very much to the Women's Fund at the Community Foundation, and a big thank you coming up from some of our service users too.
Hello, I'm HUFTY, the Centre Coordinator at West End Women and Girls Centre, and this is our picnic in the park. This summer, after the pandemic, we wanted to bring everybody together, get the community out, have fun, feed everybody, which is what we always do, in our lovely Elsick Park. And we've got some amazing plans for next year, our 40th anniversary, so have a little look at this. Leander, what does the Girls Club mean to you?
It's been a part of my life for God knows how many years. Come here since I was in nappies. My mum's came here. It's like a big family. One big happy family.
It means everything nice. I mean, lots of people, new people having fun, games and just chat, have somebody to speak to.
What does the Girls Club mean to you, Caitlin?
Everything. I came here since being 13. I first came to the youth group, and then through the youth group I got a job and still work here now.
Co-funding over 2 years means that we can develop young women like TERRI-LEE. What are you going to do when you leave school, TERRI-LEE?
Come and work here.
She's going to get a job here, and we can't think of anything better than bringing young women through the community and giving them work, especially wonderful young women like TERRI-LEE. So what shall we say to the funders?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi Eve, I know you're the chair of WHIST. Can you tell me a little bit about WHIST's plans for the coming year?
Yes, during lockdown we've contacted all our women and realised that a lot of them have a lot of difficulties. There's been increases of problems with mental health as well as physical health. Many women have been living in isolation. They're managing very difficult situations in poverty and domestic abuse. So we hope in the future to develop more flexibility with our services, and to do this we're hoping to employ a young engagement worker that's going to work with younger members, and also a advocate that can help people that obviously with the problems that we've identified during lockdown. So all round we are going to be very differently working. We're going to be working in smaller groups. We're going to have a mixture of group work, Zoom and individual. We're just playing it by ear for the future.
That's great. Even I know you were telling us earlier that you've carried on delivering services on the phone and online even when women couldn't come in, and we're going to carry on doing the mixture of in-person and on the phone and online to make sure we reach everyone, even if they're still a bit wary about coming out.
I think that's great, and some of the classes are already running like that. I facilitate creative writing with Tracy, and that is a class that's half and half. Some are on Zoom, some are in the classroom, and that works really well. So there should be more working like that, which I'm sure there will be.
Yes, and it shows that you're responding to women's needs as they change, so that's
Definitely.
great to hear. Thank you very much. Well, it's a big help because core funding is usually really difficult to secure. A lot of funders are interested in project costs or a salary for a particular project, and it's really hard to find the money for the things that are seen as a bit less sexy, if you like, so finance and admin, management costs. But those are crucial to keeping an organisation going. So it's fantastic to get this money from the Women's Fund, and the fact that it was multi-year has helped us really have a bit of stability during lockdown. It's given us that safety so we could plan the services that women needed during the pandemic. And we really are so grateful to the Women's Fund and to the Community Foundation for the support they've given us, and the fact that the way the fund is managed is so flexible, staff are very approachable.
There's nowhere quite like WHIST. I came here and I learned to be myself again, and I have some good fun when I do come here.
Brilliant. I can see a smile on your face.
I think WHIST is a great place to learn new skills and make new friends and try different things.
And do you think when women are trying new things, how do they benefit from that? Is it?
Well, they could be doing something that's physical, so they could join an exercise group, or something to build the confidence up, like confidence building group, or learning skills, things like that.
Brilliant. So impact on their physical and mental health.
Yeah, and make new friends as well, so that's another.
Great.
Hello, I'm Donna. I've been a member of WHIST for the past 20 odd years. I came here because I had issues I needed sorted, and I've became a volunteer after that because I got so much out of coming here that I wanted to pay back. So that's when I became a volunteer. What I get out of volunteering is friendship. I get support with whatever I'm doing. I get support, and it's just nice to help people, because some people who come here are quite bad one way or another, and it's so nice to see them come out of that state and gradually get better, and it's a wonderful thing to see. But it's also fun being a volunteer as well. We do various kinds of activities. Sometimes we have a little picnic somewhere, or just go out for a walk somewhere, or we had a tea just a couple of weeks ago. We had a tea which was delicious. So there's a lot of fun in it. It's not just all work, and there's a variety of things you can do as a volunteer. I've done so much here as a volunteer. I wouldn't know where to start. I gave complementary therapies. I've worked in the kitchen. I've gone out and given talks to various places. I've helped organise events here to raise funds. I'm on the committee. I've been on the management committee for a few years now. So I've done a wide variety of things, and I really enjoy it. And you can do as much as you want to do. You're not forced to do anything. You do as much as you want to do, and if there's something you don't want to do, that's fine. If one day you're supposed to be doing something but you're not feeling too good, you just phone in, and that's fine. They'll get somebody else to do whatever you were going to do, so you don't feel as if you're letting people down if you're on a bad day. So it's just a really nice place to volunteer and to come to, because the amount of help you get here is unbelievable, and it's all done so gradually. You don't even realise that you're getting better until you are better. There's so much to do here, various courses, and even if you just want to sit and have a cup of tea and a natter to somebody if you're feeling lonely, there's just such a variety of things to do, both as a member and as a volunteer. So I urge anybody who's interested to come along to WHIST and just see what we've got on offer here and the kind of things that we do. I'm sure you'll all enjoy it, whoever decides to come.